we're recording right now. Okay. Hey, Elaine, how are you?
Hey Brandon, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing swell. I'm just here with another podcast. How's been your day, your week so far?
Really well. I mean, I've been looking forward to the full moon in Leo happening during this interview right now, actually, and I've been feeling very like a lot more, I guess, confidence and courage to do and pursue my dreams. So I hope you feel that as well. How about you?
Yeah, I feel that way as well. Sometimes I feel actually more better on how I was before. I feel more aligned with myself lately. I can't make it that complicated. Just more, to put it more
Yeah,
simply, I just feel more aligned. That's all.
yeah, that's great. We always
Yeah.
it's always good to feel centered and during really unpredictable times and things could happen. So it's good to be able to come back, because without that's without. I mean, it's okay to slip sometimes. I just like, oh, I'm gonna go a little crazy, and then you know being able to balance that.
True, 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 true.
Yeah.
Oh, just for people who don't know who you are, Elaine, do you want to introduce yourself? Give us a little introduction of who you are.
Yeah, definitely. So, my name is Elaine Chow. I am an astrologer from Canada, based in specifically Winnipeg, Manitoba, which is a really dry and cold place, central Canada. I'm also Chinese Canadian. I specialize in spiritual, evolutionary, and psychological astrology.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I always wanted to go to Canada as well. Is it that snowy on how some people say it is?
Mostly yes, depending on which province you go to or city. But where I live, it's I don't know if how true it is, but it's apparently one of like the most coldest cities in the world. And we do get a lot of snow, but of course this year is a little weird. It's actually like not even that cold. It's still like cold enough than most other countries or cities. But you definitely need like a puffy jacket, and layering up kind of thing. So, but yes, a lot of snow usually.
Oh, I love countries that snow. That I really want to see if I can visit Canada someday because I don't know why, but just the feeling of what snow gives me is just anytime when it snows, everything just becomes dead silent, and I just really enjoy that silence. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, have you ever experienced that with the snow in Canada? Like everything is just dead
Um,
silent.
yes, definitely. I mean, compared to the rain, right? It's like shh kind of thing, right? But like, which is nice too. I might like rain pour better than snow. I mean, less cold for me, but snow wise, yeah, it's definitely like it's nice. It's pretty here, you could say, white. And when you go inside, and even though people are say you go to like a public place and it's snowing still, like it's just some kind of peaceful silence. Yeah, like you could imagine. Unless it's like a blizzard, I guess. If it's like really strong winds, I guess yeah, you're gonna hear like whirring. But then again, it's almost like in a way like could be, I guess maybe for yourself, it's good for meditation. Like people like that. That depends on what you like, right? You can go on YouTube or Spotify and you search up like snow sounds. Most people like rain sounds, right? But could be your thing.
That's definitely snow is one of my favorite weathers. And you also started to discuss here what you do. I'm actually quite interested to know a little bit more about that. So technically, what is it exactly that you do? Can you give us a little bit of what is astrology in a nutshell?
Yeah, so astrology in a nutshell is the study of the stars, not exactly the science of the stars, it would be astronomy. A lot of people confuse those two. Right? So study of the stars. Or other astrologers call it the science of light or the study of light, and the light can be considered like the heavenly body. We are light, right? So you can go all spiritual into that, but I'm sure you can talk about that another time on your channel. But that's what that astrology is. And then as an astrologer, we usually look at charts, birth charts. Birth charts, also called natal charts, are like usually circular charts, or they could be tables, but a circular chart would give you more information, and it's like the chart you would read if you're a professional, basically. And that chart is like a snapshot of the sky, the heavens, or space, the planets, the positions of the planets at the time of your birth. So it's best to know your birth hour and like preferably minute as well, because there's a certain important sign in your chart. Like most of us know our sun sign, right? Like a birth month, right? You're Capricorn, I'm a Virgo, so that's your sun sign. Yeah. So, and then we also have our moon sign, right? The moon is in a certain zodiac sign, and then there's other planets in a certain sign, right? There's Mercury, there's Venus, there's Mars. Like, all of them can be in different signs. Right? Just because you're a Capricorn doesn't mean that your moon's in Capricorn too, unless that's what it is, when the time you're born. And then there's a third more important aspect when you're reading a chart is the ascendant, also called the rising sign. The rising sign, which it's quite confusing, is like it's not a planet, like what is it, but it's really the sign that shows up on the eastern horizon, when the sun rises. So every 2 hours, the sign changes, right? Like the sun, it's the sign changes. And so your rising sign, the birth time is really important to know your rising sign, kind of thing. So for myself, I'm born at 2 a.m, 2:10, 2:15, and I'm a Cancer rising. So a 2 hours before that, I would be considered a Gemini, or even an hour before. The degrees, it keeps moving. A sign is usually 0 to 30 degrees. So anyway, your birth time really is a significator of like your rising sign, and the rising sign is basically will represent the chart ruler, the ruler of your chart, the overall kind of theme you kind of say. And so so to not make it too complicated, because it's already kind of complicated, those are the big three, right? Sun, moon, and rising signs. And we look at those are like really big parts of yourself. Sun is your core identity, oh, sorry.
Ooh, what happened? Oh my goodness. The moon's interrupted our recording. Well, Elaine, pardon that. I hope you forgive Lady Luna. What were you saying about astrology?
Yes. So after a little interruption, let's talk about after talking about the sun, moon, and rising. As an astrologer, I basically am a a language translator for you, basically, of the planets, you know, what they're trying to say, and what the universe has in store for you. And it's usually good intentions, believe it or not. So don't think like, oh, I'm doomed for a bad life and like, you know, all that stuff. So no, actually, I'm here to tell you your greatest potential, and really get connected with your higher self, actually. Like, you know, a lot of spiritual people, or you know, when you practice meditation, they always, or even like practice with tarot cards, you know, tarot reading, they tell you to connect with your guides or your higher self. So that really is, I help you basically, I think, visualize the higher self a little bit more, you know, and it helps to visualize, right? Because it's kind of similar to vision boards. You know, why do vision boards exist? Not everyone does it, but like it is a good practice for the brain, especially if you're not creative. You know, some people, they're not always imagining things, right? Compared to you and I, you know, as artists. But like actually this kind of leads to three main things about astrology, a little bit history, actually.
Yeah, that is what I was going to ask you. That do you know a little bit about the history? Like, who exactly? Like, do you know a little bit like why, who invented natal charts, and why specifically the planets are so important in them?
I don't really specialize in like history of astrology too much, but I don't know who really exactly invented like the name, but I know that it was around 17th century BCE, and Babylon to Greece. They had astrological charts, documents, and tables, you know, all that at that time. And I know that till 500 BCE, the zodiac was invented, right? The zodiac wheel, right? So, and yeah, the three main things about there's three main things that astrology depended on. It was imagination, observation, and mathematics. So if you're going to study astrology, or if you're going to want to become an astrologer, you know, there is some, yes, logical, but also the intuitive side to it, right?
Yeah, and most people when they hear astrology, they get that misconception that it's all pseudoscience and it's all new age. Do you mind clearing up some of those misconceptions that people have? Because you just reminded me of that right now, about astrology, on how it can really benefit you as a person.
Yeah, so misconceptions. There's a few, but like, I mean, obviously astrology has gotten a better rep nowadays, you know, like gaining in popularity. A lot of the younger generations like kind of it's kind of the religion, you know, they just like easily accept it, and it's part of their lives, compared to like maybe older generations. It depends on which generation, but they would kind of like think of it as you're enslaved, you know, or you're shackled down, like you don't have free will, because like some god or planets are kind of like it's fated, or you know, all that stuff. So to me, that is quite false, and it's very narrow-minded thinking, I would say, like quite limited, really. So I would give it a chance, like astrology, because the thing is, like, you really don't have anything to lose from trying to like at least know about your chart. And I think people that are afraid to kind of know about their chart, and like, again, they're afraid of that, being enslaved to these planets, and like, I gotta do what they tell me, and blah blah blah. And it's like you're trying to be a rebel, but it's like not working out. And because the thing is, the benefits, it's just clarification affirmation that it's like, to me, that's my definitely a strong personal experience, and anyone who studies astrology for at least a good year can tell you like it's pretty real, you know. So
I
yeah,
think
like
like most people get a misconception when they see the the pictures that astrology uses, like Aquarius, that the water bearer, the Capricorn. I feel like when people start seeing all of these pictures, that's where the misconceptions come up. But it's about seeing them as archetypes, don't you think?
yeah, definitely. I think another thing about misconceptions, or people think that, oh, how can 12 signs, you know, for everyone, billions of people in the world, you know, how can, you know, it's just only 12. But the thing is yeah, like please don't please don't argue with astrology if you haven't even like looked at your own birth chart. You know, if you haven't studied for a good year again. So yeah, I'm just kind of saying it's every chart is unique, you know, and every chart is perfect in its own way, right? That's how you should approach it as an astrologer. And a lot of people, yeah, like it's hard to find the same chart, like even like sun, moon, and rising, specifically for me, within my vicinity of people I know in person. Even online is it's a little bit more rare too. Like, and then that's just the main three, like sun, moon, and rising. But then you also have Venus, you have Mars, you have Saturn, you have Jupiter. So it's quite harder to find someone who has like all those the same as you. So, and even if they did, it's probably different degrees. You know, every one of them are different degrees, like from 0 to 30. So it's all these different combinations and formulas, you can kind of say. So, and that is who you are. So just because even twins are different actually. So, so this is what I'm trying to say. Like, yes, just open yourself to just exploring astrology and stuff. What else? Misconceptions about, okay, yeah, like I was gonna mention about free will. You know, like you actually have more free will and you feel more liberated after you study astrology and your chart, because it's like, to me, I always like this kind of example, an analogy of reading a book in front of your face. Like, how can you read what's, you know, the words when it's so close to you? And that's how most of us are living our lives, and that's how it is. You know, you can't exactly see the codes, you know, and then but
You have to take a step back.
exactly, and observation, right? And observe. So astrology gives you that opportunity to look at your life at a distance, and then kind of, yeah, discern, judge, and hopefully make better choices, you know. And because when you look at it like this, you can probably go back, you know, to the pages in the past to know what happened there, and then know what's current, like your current decisions, and how your current decisions can change your future, right? So there is where your free will comes in. Astrologers give you more choices and the paths that you can choose, but ultimately you choose which path you want to go on, because we can tell you like, oh, this one's better, you know, probably, you know, but are you really going to do it? Like it really takes courage and strength, because some of this stuff is not easy, you know. And of course astrology is at least giving you a little bit of like empowerment, you know, a little bit more confidence to do it, but ultimately it is on you.
You speak with such passion about this, and I think I do get it a little bit. It's like with astrology, the astrologers see your system, see your internal framework, and it lays it out for you, and that's where it comes with your free will, where you can choose what path to take within the flowing river of your system of astrology.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. And as well, since you speak with such passion in your words, Elena. I was going to ask that,
Thanks. Thank you.
does this resign from experience? Did you have any spiritual good or bad experiences when it comes to astrology?
Spiritual good or bad experiences? Oh, I mean, once you, it's kind of like a spiritual awakening, you know, like mine just includes astrology, of course, that helps me, you know, but once, you know, you have a spiritual awakening, and then to me, it kind of, you kind
Like
of see.
no demons were coming in to attack you in your house.
No, not exactly like that kind of demonic energy, evil spirits or anything. I mean, they can be disguised as other things, but, and I'm not on that kind of journey to kind of, I don't have those, don't have those, but yeah, it's just not really in my in the chart in a way. But it shows up in different ways. Some people might actually like feel it like actual entities, you know, but anyway, so yeah, spiritual awakenings, like, yeah, so like once you've got a spiritual awakening, or really dive into astrology in a spiritual way, like you can see that again, the codes, like the codes are basically like the meaning in life, right? Finding like whatever you're doing, you can definitely connect it to something like of a kind of higher power, you know, like, why am I doing this? And then so that again, like, it's not, you're just not like, oh, why am I doing this, you know, why am I here on earth, you know, that's really typical, but it's very powerful, right? Like once you have that to back you up, like I feel that's my quite my ability and my specialty is nowadays, I guess, everything I do is like to serve God or the universe or a higher power, you know, and it's or yourself, right? If you want to think of yourself as God, right? So to me, it's, yeah, like, I mean, everything you do is to nurture that, and the body temple, you know, like you're the like heavenly body, the light, right? So yeah, and nothing is like meaningless after that, you know.
All right.
Relationships and everything.
All right. So, and so just to maybe to count this as a good experience, did you ever have an experience where your astrological chart, your natal chart, really shown itself in your life? Like, did you have a synchronicity where you read that this experience for you is going to happen to you because of your natal chart, and you actually experienced it happening in your very life? Did you ever come across that?
Oh, good question. I mean, yes, it has, quite a few times. Some of them like before it happened, and some of them already happened, and then I look back, kind of thing. I look at the chart and be like, oh, that's why that happened, kind of thing. So there's like two ways that I saw it, but one that I would like to share, like I guess, okay, this is one that could a lot of people can relate to, and it's really important for everyone. So it has to do with Saturn, right? Saturn has a lot to do with boundaries, limitations, maturity, responsibility, cosmic rite of passage, you can kind of say. So even karmic, it's a karmic planet. So you know, Saturn affects us like quite, it has like basically Saturn cycles. So Saturn cycles, the first one that hits you is 7 years old, usually around there. It doesn't have to be on point 7 years old, depends on when you're born, but 7, around 14, and then we have 21, and then we have around 28, you know, to 30. So those are the main 4, and then it repeats, you know, because the 4th one is the Saturn return. Saturn return is so important, you know, when a lot of people, I'm sure you've heard, or when you're around the age of 28 to 30, people just get married, or people get a divorce, you know, people break up with long-term partners, or they decide to study something different, or they graduate, get a house. All of those big things usually happen at that time, you know, and that requires maturity. And if something bad happens, it's usually just kind of kind of telling you like, hey, like, did you learn your lesson that you were supposed to? And it's not like, did you learn your lesson? Like, kind of like not to beat you up or anything or be mean or a bully. It's more like, we want you to understand and learn this lesson for your own like greater benefit of, again, towards your higher self, you know, your best self. And some people can't see that. And again, this is why I love to kind of practice with people, kind of like connect to their higher self, because it's good to visualize. Again, it's like, there's the prize, I guess, like the vision board, you know, don't forget, you know. And then so, because if you don't have that, it's like, okay, well, what am I even chasing for? Like, what am I even chasing? What am I even working for? What am I like, what am I motivated about? You know, all that stuff. And then depression happens, and then blah blah blah. So okay, back to my experience. So the 4 cycles, right? 4 periods in the Saturn cycle. So I experienced something, I'm experiencing something every time, but at the same time, the third one, 21 around, was quite big for me, because so my Saturn would have been squaring the Saturn up in the heavens at that point. At 21, that happens for everyone, 21, 22. And for me, I was at university. I was like about 19. 19, I was in university, my second year university. I was like most college university students, where it's like, I didn't feel a sense of belonging in any of the studies that I tried, you know, or the programs or faculties. I kept looking in this program book to see like, oh, which one's right for me. And I kept like hopping, you know, or trying different courses, you know. And I at first went in as like a science student, but then I knew that I the typical artist thing, you know, like I always had an art. Art was a hobby, you know, for me, or as I thought it was only, you know, because my parents would tell me like, oh yeah, just keep it as a hobby, like you're not going to make money off of it, blah blah blah, blah, all that stuff, you know. So but eventually when my mom saw me like struggling to find and be stable and just like one program or faculty, so she was like nudging me to like, okay, just try doing visual arts, you know, like you're good at that, you know. So I took some visual arts things, and then it was fun, you know, that it really ignited my artistry and that kind of side to me, and creative expression and everything. So that was a good step. So, and then, but I really had to think about like, I saw other art students, and no offense to them at the time, like I just felt like I didn't want to be like them, or I didn't want to be there for another 4 years taking art history classes that probably are just like boring. And I just feel like I something told me that I did not belong there, and you know, and not in a bad way, but like that I'm kind of wasting my time. And I wasn't like nearly as spiritual as I was before, you know, and astrology was not really in the picture as well. Okay, so but I took a calling to like of okay, if this is not going to work, then I got to find something else. And I found basically a college program called digital media design. So it's a more like technology based and like digital, which is really good for like nowadays, right? Like making like graphic arts and animation and stuff. So to become basically from a traditional artist, and I still can be, right? You need to take that skills and like put it into like digital arts, right? And right. and expand and evolve, right? So that's what was my next that's my next step I took, and I had to get over the going from degree like a university degree to just a college diploma. But the thing is, it only takes obviously 2 years for me to graduate with a diploma, and I chose what the value of those 2 years were worth compared to just like 4 years of degrees, which not even sure if I'm going to get a job at the end of that. Either way, not really sure if I'm going to get a job at the end of either of these, but I still took a leap of faith, and that is exactly, and basically taking that taking that opportunity has led me to where I am today, because then I got a job at a spiritual company, and I learned a lot, and then my spiritual awakening like skyrocketed, and then that led to me opening my own, like being entrepreneur basically, and hopefully like look more content creator and maybe streaming soon, but all that stuff, and that was because of that Saturn square my own Saturn, and mine is specifically for the astrology people out there. I have natal Saturn in Pisces, which is a very artistic sign, and it's very spiritual. It's very like your witches, mermaids, psychics, basically, and healers, all those like, and I had to surrender, and that is let go, and that's a lot to do with the Pisces lessons. The Pisces are really good at that, natural Pisces, but Saturn created a block for me. It made it a challenge, and as a Virgo, I'm opposite of Pisces actually. So I've been living my life as a Virgo that is really very much in control or being controlled. and very like, just like I gotta know the plan, I gotta all that stuff, so I gotta be stable or financially stable. But then Saturn in Pisces was kind of triggered by that Saturn in the heavens at the time, kind of telling me like, hey, is this worth your happiness, and is this who you truly want to be? And
so like that inner voice, right?
Yeah, what's true to you, and what does your heart want? And that's very like typical, but it is true for in my experience. So that's that.
Well, that sounds wonderful as well. And so all this talk about the zodiac signs and all, I just thought of something right now, like why is there such a correlation between the Chinese signs and the astrology signs? Because I feel like there is some sort of correlation. Do you know something a little bit about that? Like why do you think? Because the Chinese zodiac sign has like the sense of the monkey, the rooster, and this. Yeah. I feel like that there is some sort of correlation between the astrological signs as well with that as well.
I'm not, even though I'm Chinese, I'm not an expert in Chinese astrology. I know that all 12 of the animals for sure. I know that it comes from like a great race that God had, and then that's how they were ordered, rat being the first, it kind of cheated actually. It was smart enough to ride the ox, and the ox just helped him get there, the rat, but and then the pig, which I am actually, the boar is the last one, just because we don't care about the race. It's just like, we're just, but yeah, there is a little bit of correlation. Like some people have made like connections to like, oh, the snake or the serpent is kind of like Scorpio, like and maybe the horse is like Sagittarius. I mean, that's really typical, but like other than that, I mean, there's different kinds of astrology out there, systems, and I specifically study Western tropical astrology, but there's also the next big one, which is Vedic astrology, which is mainly originated from India, and so like it's quite complicated, but I would say all the astrology like systems work in their own way, okay, and it is up to you to decide which one works for you, and they're kind of saying the same thing. It's just like, can you understand it? And the best thing is, if you understand it, that's good, then you can share it.
So you see where I'm going with this. Like every religion is the same thing with astrology. So where it's all different interpretations pointing at the same thing.
Yep.
Oh my God. Well, you see here, people watching. Where else can you get this sort of amazing content and conversations? So Elaine, just to bring this conversation to a close, I do this with everybody who I invite to the podcast. If you were on a giant jumbotron and the entire world was listening to you, what would you tell them in regards to hope or current circumstances or the works?
Oh, that's a tough one. Oh, I'm already indecisive. There's like, and I'm also talkative, so there's like a lot to say, but I just want to try to make it simple. I mean, just give me a second here. If you need to cut this out, then um, Jumbotron, everything like currently 2021, like something that
And the plot begins!
The prophecy is true.
home is where thy heart is, right?
Home is where thy
And
heart is.
stay close to your heart and listen to your heart, because yeah, like a lot of times I know it's really typical, but it's true that you should follow your heart. Yes.
All right, you heard it there. I just imagine everybody around the world going, Elaine, yeah, Elaine, yeah. What wonderful inspirational words. All right then. Elaine, where can people find you? You can share your social medias right now. Where can people find you if they want to find you, Elaine?
Oh, yeah. So you can find me on Instagram at Zen Moment, as well as the XENMOMENT. Also, I'm on Facebook. If for any Facebookers, it's similar, but the Zen Moment. And also, I have a website. Everything's the same, zenmoment.com. And if you want to book with me there, you can also book through IG, Instagram by a booking button. But yeah, so it's really easy, and I'm very flexible, and I would love to connect with you. So thank you, Brandon.
All right, you heard it. You heard it there, folks. All of those links will be in the link. It will be down in the description down below. All right, then. So until next time, everyone. This has been Elaine Chan. It has been a wonderful to have you with the podcast today, and I bid you all adieu. So, Elaine, do you want to say the words with me? It's stay true and live true. You want to say it together at the same time?
Okay.
And stay true.
Stay true.
And live true.
Live true.
All right then. See you later, guys.
Bye-bye.